Where's Drew?
All right, so we're going to start this afternoon with the signing of Senate Bill 888. So to kick us off, we're going to go with the Senate Bill sponsor, Senator Nick Schroer, to say a few words.
Figure out how to turn this on first. It's on? There you go. I just want to thank this entire team that's behind us 2 years in a row now. See, just look around the room, all these men and women in blue and those who represent them. That's what we're here for. It's been several years that it took to get these things going. 5 years, I think, the bill last year that Representative Chris and I and the team that you see around us, we were here before spring break with a phenomenal bill. And this one, similarly, starting from the juvenile justice system, apprehending these children who some of them are very hardened criminals. And the catch and release process that we were seeing throughout the state of Missouri had to end. And it took 5 years. It took a phenomenal governor and his team to come in and bring back the camaraderie, the professionalism to work with law enforcement, work with the people in all of these different districts around Missouri. And I'm thankful that for the second year in a row, the GOP was able to put a bill, a comprehensive package from arresting juveniles through sentencing them and providing some truth in sentencing, not only to the defendants, but also to the victims as well. Bringing the voice of victims back into the Capitol. It's something that I've been very proud of in the Judiciary Committee. And the Senate colleagues behind me, I know we've got Floor Leader Tony Lutkmeyer. I was his vice chairman, and that's something that he wanted to instill as well. Protecting victims, protecting the men and women in blue, and making Missouri safe again. And I want to thank the governor and his team for all that they've done and making sure that this thing was done properly, that it didn't get filibustered, that we worked diligently until I think 3, 4 in the morning on the Senate side, and his team was right there with us the entire time. And we're just getting started. There's so much more that needs to be done with criminal justice reform, sentencing reform. A lot of that gets done in this bill, but we got to get back to work. So thankful we have them on our side and look forward to working with them in the future.
Great.
All right, Representative Bragg Hicks, the House sponsor.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. And to echo what Senator Schroer said, we've got a great team here, second time in 2 years, 2 consecutive years, we've had a great crime bill on the governor's desk. It starts from the top down. The governor's his #1 priority. He started campaigning on 2 years ago, and he's here yet again, one of the first bills out of the session, signing one to keep our communities safe. And this is about safe communities. We have a catch and release situation right now with our minors, but this is also very good for our youth. They need accountability. They need rehabilitation. That's what the juvenile justice reform is about, and so I think this strengthens that aspect as well. Also got a tremendous amount of support from Representative Cook and Representative Black on this bill. I couldn't have done it without them when it came over with a lot of the truth and sentencing on it. They are the true experts on that and helped this bill along on the House side as well. So again, I want to thank the governor and everybody in this room. There's a ton of people in this room to thank. We can't go through all of them, but really appreciate your support.
I just want to echo my thanks. Obviously, I'm the new kid on the block here, and as soon as I got the call from the governor and got sworn in, the #1 issue I heard from sheriffs, police officers, prosecutors, and victims about was truth in sentencing, and particularly in our urban areas, real concerns about juvenile justice. So to get to be here to congratulate all of you for the hard work that you've done to get this over the line is it's tremendous. And I really want to thank the House and Senate. This is so early to be at a bill signing. Great work on your parts. And Senator Schroer thanked the men in blue. I also want to thank the men in brown from all the sheriff's departments. Really appreciate all of you. And with that, I'll conclude my remarks. Thanks.
Well, thank you, everybody, for being here, especially our sponsor, Senator Schroer, Representative Chris, really helped us move the Safer Missouri agenda last year that we started out with public safety. We knew was very important to our state, a cornerstone of who we are. Thank you for delivering again, along with your other colleagues in both the House and Senate. We're grateful for them. Director James, we're grateful we talked you out of retirement. And I told just be for a few months, and he's still here. So thank you, Mark, for what you do. And Trevor, I know that speaking from the Department of Corrections, you've been very, very hard on trying to make sure we push something across the line. Grateful to have Attorney General Hanaway. I think most of you know her experience in this building and her reliability with law enforcement and citizens, victims, prosecutors alike, as she mentioned, is nothing more than just rock solid. And so, Attorney General, we're grateful that you do. Most of all, I look around the room and I see my friends in law enforcement that we've gotten to know each other the last couple of years. As Brad said, there's a lot of people in here to mention, but I can't help but think of the, Sheriff Pruitt from up in Buchanan County and Roy Cole from Webster County. I know Roy's here. For years, they've been working on trying to find something that worked for their organization. And so for the rest of the sheriffs to know, your members and you, the people that are in here, along with the FOP, we've got Jay Schroeder here, our municipal police departments, lots of people, along with corrections, have been working to get this Safer Missouri piece passed. So, Chris, good to see you here. I didn't see you were standing behind one of the other taller guys, so we lost you. But I just want to say, it's fresh in my mind because this never, it's part of the job that's really tough. But in Christian County, just a month ago, we saw how communities come together when folks who are running away from, a bad situation, these men and ladies that represent these departments are running into them. And we saw what that price was. And we met with the families and, you never want to discount what that's all about, that we have heroes right here in our state and our communities that really take their job seriously. They work for our organizations and communities that they respect, and they want to make our neighborhoods safe. And I just don't want to have this with all the friends we have in the law enforcement community today to just reflect just for a minute what the price of freedom is and what the price of keeping our communities safe are. And we should remember those families in our prayers. I've been to way too many funerals for first responders and law enforcement in specific. And it never goes past me to reflect on what it means to protect these communities and then give them the tools and the prosecutors the tools to keep those bad people out of our community. So I've talked way past what Drew probably wants me to talk, but thank you for continuing our Safer Missouri plan, and thank you to law enforcement for doing the job that you do, and we're going to get this bill signed. The bill is so signed.
Thank you, and thank you, Governor, for signing this today. You know, this has been a labor of a few years for at least the two of us. It's been 3 years that we've worked on this bill together and with Senator as well. And, you know, this is a bill that is going to protect the young and the vulnerable in Missouri especially. And trafficking is just modern day slavery. And the effort of the state of Missouri to combat that is something that, you know, with the governor's initiatives protecting all of the Missouri citizens, this is just another area that we have to focus on. In this bill, it puts a lot of that burden on the Attorney General's office and the coordination of all the different groups in the coordination of the Attorney General's office, and I'm so grateful for her leadership in that area already, and this is just going to strengthen that, and so I'm just very thankful to get this done, and for all the people that are up here, all the representatives, the senator, the AG, and of course the governor as well.
Thank you, everybody. Representative Jeff Myers came by this as a passion project. I finished up a career in law enforcement after 28 years. And this was something that I got some training on towards the end of my career that really, really sat home with me. And it was something that I wanted to make sure that we could put something in statute that would put tools in the hands of our folks in law enforcement, our social workers, and those others out there that come in contact with these victims on a regular basis, to be able to put something in their hands so we can start turning the tide, make sure that Missouri's not at the top of that list anymore of nation or the states in our nation for trafficking. And that's what this bill does. And I do want to thank Senator Carter. Representative Lewis and I have been working on this 3-4 years now. And it takes a long time to get legislation passed. But I'm so happy to be able to sign this today, and thank you, Governor, for doing so.
Yes, I'm Representative Christopher Warwick out of the 128th District. Happy to be part of this bill. Bill 1814 was strung in with this main trafficking bill, which also deals with sexual predators who groom our children. So it's the grooming portion of this bill, specifically named after Evelyn and Sophie. So Evie and Sophie's Law. And so I think it's very important for us to recognize that we have predators out there not only looking to take our children, as we would typically have seen taking out of a white van, what we most commonly think of, but actually are working against our children online. Or even to the effect of being coaches or teachers who are looking to be kind and have gift giving and secrecy that winds up going on. And that's what grooming actually is. And so with this bill, this is going to put a stop to that. It's going to put some tools in our law enforcement and in our prosecutors' hands to stop these predators from grooming our children. So, Governor, thank you for signing this today.
Hello, I'm Representative Burt Whaley from the 138th. I'm thrilled to be here. I got to give it to Representative Ed Lewis and Representative Jeff Myers for really letting us tag along. We're freshmen, and the experience has been awesome. And to represent people within our area, to be passionately involved in helping those folks in the healing process by passing legislation that has teeth in it, that gives law enforcement, gives prosecutors something to bite into, because grooming and sextortion was not a crime. And to be able to put that in the hands of the AG to take it further is awesome. And thank you, Senator Jill Carter, for inviting me to your town hall to learn all about this and be engaged. And thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Now we'll hear from the Senate sponsor, Senator Jill Carter.
Thank you, Governor. It's hard to echo the sentiments that have already been said, so I'll be brief. You know, as a mom of 5, one with special needs, it's just phenomenal to be front and center on this fight. I think this takes Missouri from lagging to front and center from the rest of the country. And people need to know that when you come after our kids, there's going to be consequences. And Missouri is going to stand in defense of those kids that are most vulnerable. Our youth and our young kids, you can't have access to them. So if you go after our kids, you're going to find a big stick on the other end of it. So just want to thank the AG for her passion, her work, Representative Lewis, Jeff Myers. We almost got this across the finish line last session, so it feels really good to be here at the beginning of this session, having it be one of the original bills that we've been signing. So thank you, Governor.
All right, now we'll hear from Attorney General Catherine Hanaway.
When I was U.S. Attorney, I prosecuted literally hundreds of these child exploitation cases. And what was very clear to me then, and is very clear to me now, is that there's lots of interests that have lots of lobbyists. But when you start to talk about human trafficking, child exploitation, grooming of children, there's not really any lobbyists walking the halls getting paid to be for those kids and people who are among the most vulnerable in our entire society. Many of the people who are human trafficked begin as runaways. They don't have anybody in their corner. So I want to say a very special thank you to the representatives and to the senator for standing up for people who don't have anybody else standing up for them. And hopefully through the rules of the road that have been put forward in this bill for the Attorney General's office to coordinate all the different stakeholders and to do training, which we are already doing, particularly around the World Cup coming up, because we know it's going to be a major human trafficking event. We're so pleased to have the additional tools. And lastly, I want to say thank you to the governor for leading on law enforcement from moment one. From moment one, reducing crime in Missouri at every level has been his highest priority, and he just keeps delivering over and over again. And with that, let me introduce the governor of Missouri, Mike Kehoe.
Well, thank you, Attorney General, and great to see my favorite representatives here all in one spot, and appreciate your leadership on all of them. And Representative Whaley and Warwick, you're learning from two great people who really have done a great job in public service, and thank you so much for doing that. Senator Carter, once again, you're with us. You were with us on the previous bill. You understand how important public safety is. We're grateful for your leadership and what you've done to get this bill, one of the first bills we'll be signing this session. General Hanaway, I have news for you. There are lobbyists in the building for this, and it's called the parents and the families. And they are the ones who deserve the credit. Now, they're unpaid, and that makes their passion even greater. But Catherine Hanaway wants the tools to make sure what Senator Carter said is right. If you're doing wrong and bad things to Missouri's children, you are going to pay. And there's nobody in the state, in the United States, and I know a lot of attorney generals who will be tougher on these people than Catherine Hanaway. She's one tough cookie, and thank you, General Hanaway, for what you're doing for all these families. And seriously, the families who have been working with the representatives and with the senators, walking the halls, doing something most people wouldn't take time out to do, your passion is what has gotten to this point. It's because of your voices this bill is on the table. And it's because of the hundreds of young people that you're now protecting that you'll never even meet, that your voice has come to bring this bill to the table along with these legislative leaders. We are grateful to you, and we're grateful for Missouri to have the tools to make sure we are a safe place for our children. And if you don't go by that, bad things are going to happen to you instead of them. So thank you for everybody's leadership. Thank you for all the people who have done that. We're gonna get this bill signed. We're gonna look up first, I think, is the drill, right? Yeah. Now we're gonna look down.
Good afternoon. This day has been a long day coming. Everyone pretty much knows how much this bill means to me. Being able to remove the barrier that allows pregnant women to get divorced in the state of Missouri is something that I have had experience with for 20 years, almost 20 years now. And I always stated that the day that this law goes into effect or we have made a change would be my personal Independence Day. I never actually received a divorce from my husband, as he had taken his life 11 days before our divorce would have been finalized. So I never got to experience his face when I was able to tell him just how much his actions affected me and my actions in my life, and how I proceeded on and moved on with my children. And being able to have that day was taken from me, and my voice was silenced yet again by him. So today, this being my Independence Day, is something that is just absolutely incredible. I've looked forward to it since the day I decided to run for office, knowing that this was my first priority, was changing this and making sure that I helped be a voice for those who also were silenced by domestic violence. I was silenced by domestic violence, and so I speak now for those who still are. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you and congratulations. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm State Representative Rachel Prouty, and it has been an immense privilege working with representatives, both of you, and the senator on this piece of legislation. I'll be very, very brief. Everyone deserves full access, equal access to all of the judicial processes available, no matter their medical condition, pregnancy notwithstanding. And so this is another step towards that, making sure that we're being equitable, no matter your gender, again, your medical condition. If you would like to be free from a situation that's causing you harm, this allows you to do that. So this is a day I'm very proud of the representative, very proud of your work and leadership on this, Representative Ani, and I'm very, very proud of the state of Missouri for this step that we're taking today. Thank you.
Thank you. Very briefly, I just want to say a huge thank you to these women who have taken up the mantle of getting this passed. As a lot of us know, being in the super minority makes things a little bit difficult to get across the finish line sometimes. And so being able to partner with someone who has such a deep understanding of the issue and is so passionate about making change in Missouri. These are the reasons that I ran for office. I think these are the reasons so many of us run for office, is to make positive change in this state. So I'm so very grateful to your leadership. I'm so very grateful for everything that you've done to make sure that women in Missouri have access to this proceeding. Thank you.
Thank you again for the opportunity to be here today. I just want to say that Representative Williams and I have become fast friends, and once in a while you meet people that you just have there's a kindred spirit there. And we were able to work on this a little bit last year, got really close again to the finish line, but ran out of time. And so it was just an honor to work with her, work with the governor's office to try to get this across, again, the finish line and here to be signed on the governor's desk. But we're taking this, the last piece of legislation we just signed, and this piece of legislation, we're taking situations where vulnerable people now have a voice. And if there is nothing more done in this legislative body this year, I think these 2-3 pieces of legislation really codify what our passion and goals are as a state, and that is to make sure that our most vulnerable are taken care of. So thank you, Governor.
Well, thank you, everybody, for being here. There's some things in this building, memories that you want to forget. There's a few you'll never forget. And as I think most people know, I'm not very good at sitting at a desk, so I like to walk around. And I'll never forget last year when Drew and I were walking the hallways, and I said, let's go meet this Representative Williams and see what she's all about. And within seconds, she told me what her passion was. And multiple things to run for office. You always want to represent constituents and do right things and protect your constituents. But when she told me her personal story, I mean, I walked in the hallway and I almost started crying. And Drew's looking at me like, what's wrong? Well, that's the relationship my mother came from. and an abusive relationship to my older brothers and sisters. And I was born right before my father left. So it hit home with me. I introduced her to Claudia not shortly thereafter, who's my wife, who is here. And Claudia said, we got to do what we ever got to do. And ran out of time, as Senator Carter said last year, but I was grateful that we saw this in a bipartisan. There's plenty in this building we all can disagree on, representatives. And so thank you for working together to get this across the finish line. Thank you, Senator, for being, again, a leader for victims' rights. And we've seen that in multiple bills that we've had here today that you've had your fingerprints on. And lo and behold, as the year went on, Senator Claudia and I are here with a great friend of our family who actually is here for the same reason, who they've experienced it firsthand. And we're grateful that he would be here today to see justice served for those who deserve it, and that there is hope. And you provided that in a very personal way with a story that most people would never feel comfortable repeating, and you got out in front of it. And that's why we wanted to make sure your story was part of our State of the State, to say that Missouri's not that place, that we can have a safe place for women and folks who come out of rough situations. And so we're grateful for the leadership of the ladies standing here with me, and we are going to sign this bill. But thank you so much for all the sponsors.